Hello, my name is Sharon Obara and I am your Miss World Kenya 2021. I am currently at the Chiromo Hospital Group and I am here to tackle some questions related to mental health and wellness that I got from you. And with me, I'm joined by a very beautiful guest.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine Nana. I'm a psychologist and I practice here at Sharon Hospital.
So, Catherine, I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to having a very interesting and lengthy discussion, and also offering solutions on mental health to the general public. So with me, I have some questions that I received on an Instagram poll I posted a while ago, and I felt like we needed to get a professional on board to help us with the issues. The first question is, how does one identify that they have a mental issue or identify one in those around them? Because most of the time, it may just be you're having a bad day or the daily stresses. So how do you identify it's actually a mental issue?
Okay, great question, Sharon. Just to mention, mental health issues are quite varied. When you talk about mental illnesses, there are very many diagnosable mental illnesses. But just to simplify things, when we talk about mental wellness, there are telltale signs that you can observe, or try and identify that somehow point to your mental well-being being negatively affected. So some of the telltale signs could be perhaps experiencing low moods. It could be sadness, and this could lead to even the extremities of feeling hopeless, feeling like you're not worthy, feeling like you shouldn't be alive. And these extremely low moods need to be persistent for some time. We are not saying that feeling low is a wrong thing. We all go through tough times, and it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel low. But if that type of mood continues or persists for some time, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, and it's not lifting, like whenever there's something good happening around you, you're still feeling low, then that's one of the signs that could show that your mental health wellness has been negatively affected. Another sign would be also extreme worry and fear that doesn't seem to go away or shake off.
Irrational.
Yeah, and also irrational. Even maybe it may also seem like it's a bit of paranoia. Like you're feeling like it may seem bizarre in the sense that you believe that perhaps people are talking negatively about you, and yet there's really no evidence of that. So those types of irrational fears are also a sign. But then there's also like the normal fears or worries that we have that could also show that perhaps mentally you're not settled. And these worries and fears could seem normal or within the reality. There's nothing bizarre about it. Like for example, you're afraid of crossing the road because you're scared that a car will hit you. But that type of fear can somehow be extreme in a way if, for example, it prevents you from, walking on a road and you need to get to work. So if it inhibits or sort of interferes with your day-to-day functioning, then you know that is not normal per se. One of the other signs would be increased anger or outbursts or irritability. I think one of the things I failed to mention is that when it comes to these signs, it has to be like a change of behavior. From how you normally would behave. So if it is the extreme sadness, there are people who have a personality of being low, there are people who have a personality of just being anxious. But this change of behavior should be significant to the point that you yourself you can notice, and also if you can't notice, then also other people around you should be able to or can be able to pinpoint or tell you that that, well, something is a bit off. So when it comes to the increased irritability, something small ticks you off, and you have what you call an irrational response, shouting, storming out, and things like that. Another telltale
Actually,
sign.
one
Yeah.
from a workshop we had a while ago at Chicago Group, where Gathani was mentioning how there are some other physical signs such as abnormal bowel movements, and I didn't know about that. So there is the abnormal bowel movements,
Yes.
and there is maybe changing appetite, maybe one eats or other eats. Then there is the sleep patterns. So I think it's things that are observable that are total signs.
Yeah, for sure. And what you're talking about is now your body. There are people who have a difficulty in understanding their emotions. So sometimes your body will go ahead and react to something, and you're thinking it's maybe normal, or maybe it's a physical issue, but it's actually a sign that mentally there's something off, there's something you need to pay attention to. Like with the bowel movement, for example, that's a telltale sign of anxiety. Yeah, maybe before a presentation or before a meeting, you suddenly want to go to the toilet.
Get bloated.
For sure. Yeah. So, and these are actually signs of even stress or accumulated stress.
Okay.
So you can even experience headaches, backaches, like you wake up just feeling tired all the time, or you're experiencing headaches that don't cool off even when you take painkillers. So your body sometimes can respond in a manner to show you or to just alert you that there's a stressor that you need to be aware of to take care of.
Yeah, great stuff. On to the second question. What is the right time to see a psychologist or seek therapy? We're just discussing that. What's the right time? Like, when do I know I need to see a professional?
I mean, that's a great question. And, I don't know whether it's the African or Kenyan society where, we usually go to see doctors when for sure, we are at the brink of death.
Yeah, it's actually something.
Yeah. So unfortunately, you find that even when you compare it to the physical illnesses you experience, you only go to see a doctor when things are far gone. And yet, if you maybe had a habit of doing medical checkups, some of these issues would have been prevented. You would be preventing instead of now treating, which is actually expensive. So I think, in Kenya we need to now have that culture of just trying to prevent certain things from happening, or rushing at the last minute to take care of ourselves. Now, to answer your question, I don't think there's necessarily a right time. Yeah, the fact that perhaps you feel like okay, or either overwhelmed, or you feel like you need to talk to someone, that is a sign already that you need to seek professional help. But other than that, it is important, just like the way we go for medical checkups, have that pattern of doing mental wellness checkups. Yeah. Also, I think the younger generation right now is very aware of their mental health. And with that awareness just comes with a lot of introspection about the things we need to deal with as we grow up. So that awareness, I think many young people are coming to terms with the fact that there's a lot of trauma they need to heal from.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and how do you go about that? You don't need to be the expert, unless maybe even us as experts, we have to seek therapy to deal with our own issues, so that we can be able to be neutral and compassionate enough when we are doing therapy with our clients. So, in terms of the timing, if it is not within, say, your system or your culture or your routine to do mental wellness checkups, if you think you need therapy, truthfully, then you do.
So is it right to say that the right time to go for therapy would have been yesterday? Because as we are constantly growing and moving into adulthood in the journey of self-actualization, we're actually trying to unlearn some of the things that we internalize as children that are impeding our growth as adults. So there is never a right time.
Yeah.
Just make it a point to get to know yourself better as a person and become a fully functioning person.
Because these things are not taught in school.
Yes.
They're not taught in school. And then maybe the other thing would be if someone close to you points out that your behavior has changed, or that you need to speak out to, you need to find someone to talk to, try and heed that advice. Therapy doesn't make you crazy. When someone tells you you need therapy,
like don't get defensive, because a lot of people tend to be like, what do you really need therapy? Just take it from a positive point of view and step back and think maybe actually it's not a bad thing actually. And the third question is, what guarantees do I have that when I share and whatever I share with my therapist or my professional will not go out in the sessions? Like, what guarantee do I have to my confidentiality?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. I think the difference between having a professional psychologist versus having a counselor, quote unquote, out there, is the fact that with a psychologist, there's that professionalism within their practice. It's important to know where you're getting these services from, because this service, in terms of therapy, in terms of psychiatry, it's very, how do I put it? It's very narrow in the sense that not very many people are aware of it, and not very many people practice it. Yeah, there could be people out there purporting to be psychologists or counselors, but in terms of their credentials, we find that they're not up to par. So I think, first of all, understanding where you're seeking the services from is important, because in a place like Sharon Hospital Group, there's a criteria that you have to meet in order for you to qualify to practice here. And within the practice in Sharon Hospital Group, we are governed by ethics. Yeah, we also belong to professional bodies that we have to abide to their ethics, and code of conduct. So professionally, if you're practicing as a psychologist, there are those things that you have sworn to do. Yeah. So I think as you're looking for a counselor, a therapist, a psychologist, be very cautious of where you get the services from. Yeah. Guaranteeing confidentiality, sometimes even within the practice, has its own limits, in the sense that, when we deal with minors, if a 17-year-old decides to come in and say they want therapy, we are bound legally, to have a guardian in effect. Yes. Yeah. So sometimes, maybe a teenager may want that privacy, but the truth is, within the therapy session, we can guarantee that privacy so long as there's a guardian involved, and we can be able to hand over the minor, and let the guardian be aware of what is happening in their life, but we will not really disclose every detail of what their time is. Also, sometimes we can be bound legally again, or we have to divulge some information, especially if someone probably tells us that they have a plan to end their life.
When it poses a danger to themselves or others.
Yes. So, when it comes to those kind of extreme cases, you find that confidentiality can be breached. Yes.
So to sum that up, we have learned that the confidentiality aspect of counseling can be breached in the cases of minors, or when one is posing danger to themselves or to others. On to the next one. How does one approach a psychologist, and where does a therapy session start from?
Okay, that's a good question because not very many people, know what the process of therapy is like, and that can be daunting. When it comes to where do you get a therapist, for us, the fact that you're here, you found us through your own channel.
I did.
Yeah, you researched and you were able to either get our contacts, or maybe you were referred to us by someone, or maybe you had us somewhere. So do your research in the sense that look for a professional institution that offers psychotherapy, or has psychologists on board or psychiatrists on board. That way, at least you can be guaranteed of the quality of service that you will be receiving. For us, you can Google us. We are on social media platforms. We have a website, and our contacts are there. You can call and schedule a session. In terms of what to expect when it comes to therapy, psychotherapy is about talking. I know sometimes it can be difficult to know where to start, but the therapist will guide you. Yeah? And we'll try and establish a relationship with you so that you feel at ease and comfortable, to talk about the heavy things that, have brought you to the session. So you'll find that the first session is more or less about the therapist getting to understand you, knowing your background, so that they can assess, what the challenges are. Or you may come in and decide, I want to deal with ABCD, and you'll be the one guiding the session. But overall, the first few sessions are about getting to understand you, getting to understand what you need.
So you first of all have to create a rapport before the session starts. That's amazing. That's amazing. So you don't need to worry about where to start. Our able professionals will guide you through all the sessions. Then the last one actually for today, does seeing a psychologist mean I have to be admitted or put on medication?
Okay, I think there's a simple answer to that. No, it does not always mean that when you come in for therapy, that automatically you get admitted or you'll be put on medication. Just like with physical ailments, the therapist will assess you and the issues, the severity of the issues that you go through. How bad, how severely have these symptoms affected your ability to function or to cope, with your day-to-day activities? So that will inform whether or not, you will go to the next step, either seeing a psychiatrist and having the psychiatrist assess you and decide whether or not to put you on medication or even to admit you. Being put on medication and being admitted is not a bad thing also. I know there's a lot of stigma surrounding that. And I think the picture out there is, you go for therapy and, just by seeing you, the fact that you have walked in, it means automatically you get admitted. But I think it's important to let people know that it is a process. Yeah, you also have a say in your treatment. If you're not comfortable with medication, we have a system where we do therapy and we have goals to achieve. If nothing works or if you don't improve, we move on to the next step. So we keep preparing. So you don't have to feel apprehensive that the minute you walk in through the doors, that it's an automatic sedation or medication.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And so, as I understand, there are different forms of therapy. There is group therapy, and there is a difference between you talking to a group of your friends, your actual friends, and you being in a group of people with maybe shared experience. So how important is group therapy to one's own recovery journey? How important is the group of people with a similar symptom?
Yeah, I think, that's also a very good question. When it comes to group therapy, so with ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So there's a support group that is run every Saturday. So within that support group, these individuals have this diagnosis of ADHD. So you realize that when you have a certain diagnosis, there are many people who will not understand your journey, working or trying to recover from those symptoms. So the truth is, maybe even your family will not really understand fully or will not be compassionate as someone who has walked the same journey. So with group therapy, actually, it gives you that opportunity to even learn coping skills. You will find people who have had maybe ADHD for the past 50 years, 30 years, and maybe you were just diagnosed very recently. So you get to really hear people's stories, get encouraged, learn how to, learn different coping skills, which is very different from sitting with a group of friends who really have no clue
what you're going through. That's really amazing. And Catherine, on to the last question. You are based in Sharon Hospital, and I'm sure from your line of work, you've had a lot, you've seen a lot. How do you manage to decompress at the end of the day to get ready for yet another busy day at the institution? How do you decompress?
Well, as a therapist, I make it practice to also go for therapy.
So a therapist also needs therapist, and the therapist also needs
Yes.
So it's an learning sample.
It is. So I have my own challenges I need to work through, and that is what I do. But other than that, of course, I have a lot of self-care techniques that I use, either on a daily basis or on a weekly basis to decompress. So by the time I'm coming to work, I am able to leave Catherine, the individual, and take on and put on the heart of Catherine, the rest. So that would include sleeping a lot, having a good time with my friends and family. Just to mention.
Amazing. I love that you're also taking care of yourself, because at the end of the day, you cannot work for the next company to be nourished and fresh in order to be the best version of yourself out there. So, Catherine, now that we're working towards stigmatizing access to mental health care, as Sharon Hospital, which is a leading psychiatric institution, what are you doing to create awareness on mental health issues and disseminating the information?
I think when it comes to doing outreach programs, there's a lot that we have been doing, especially when you look at from the year 2020 until now. We've partnered with various organizations, including our police service, our prison service, and different corporates. We've also been out there in the mainstream media platforms when it comes to radio shows and even TV shows, just to ensure that we are having this discussion about mental health. And also similarly to what we're doing now, we have our social media platforms, and every Monday, if I'm not wrong, we do tweet chats. We ensure to have events where we invite different people from all walks of life, just for us to be able to have that opportunity to just spread the word about mental wellness. We also do provide mental wellness checks during those events. So we are actually doing a lot. It's just that I can't be able to.
You actually are. Like whenever I log into my Twitter, especially, I always get a tweet, and also on the road I've seen billboards. So when one is stuck in traffic, you'll be like, it will prompt you to want to know more about whatever is being advertised, and are doing a really amazing job.
So we also have the Tufunguke campaign, which means let's open up, meaning let's open up our minds. Let's talk about mental health. So it was an initiative that was launched last year, 2021, by the So I think, it was a very good initiative, which, is continuing up until now. So I would encourage everyone to be like that.
Which is like normalizing conversations surrounding in and around mental health. Thank you very much for having us. It's been really nice and insightful. Thank you so much for joining us at home. Hoping to see you in our next session. Thank you very much.